it's Felisa, and today's vlog will probably be very brief, but it is in response to an article that I read today. And I know it's a little odd for me to talk about co-sleeping or family beds because my youngest daughter will be 18 tomorrow. Shout out to her. Happy birthday, doll. Anyway, so obviously I'm far removed from, walking the floor with newborns and getting up in the middle of the night and all that kind of stuff. Although she does occasionally decide that she wants to camp out in my bedroom, which is fine. But I'm not having to attend to a small child. But I did want to come and say that, there's always some kind of study that's going on, either co-sleeping is best or no, put them in their own bed. Listen, Mom, I just wanted to be a voice of encouragement. Of course, I am going to go on record and issue my standard disclaimer saying that you need to make sure that whatever arrangements you have for your child sleeping, nursing, whatever the case may be, that it's safe. So, of course, that means minimal to no bedding in the crib, making sure that the baby is, not restricted, not having the baby in a place where they can have people roll on them, etc., etc. And however y'all work that out, that's on you. But I'm just saying, just make sure that baby is safe. Anyway, having said that, I did want to come out and I wanted to say that I am one of the weird people who had a family bed. My ex-husband probably didn't appreciate it as much as I did, but I really have great memories of all of our children. We had four being in our bed, and there is a lot of arguments for and against, and I'm not even really interested in trying to justify or defend the decision that I made. I think that having children in the bed with you and kind of snuggling up as a family was a great bonding experience. I know that I enjoyed it. I know that my children enjoyed it. And then of course my newborns, I just couldn't even imagine having this small person that I carried in my body for, it seemed like 100 years, and then giving birth to it and then just sticking it in a crib all by itself in some room somewhere where it's been accustomed to hearing my heartbeat for the last, 8-9 months. And now I'm just going to put it in a room somewhere in the dark by itself. That seems cruel. Now, I know it's not cruel. And I know that you need to teach children how to self-soothe and, go to sleep on their own, etc., etc. But at least initially, I enjoyed having my newborns close to me. And given the fact that I nursed my last child, that was the most convenient thing in the whole entire world. To just roll over, have the baby, and, just nurse, and she go to sleep and I go to sleep. She's close, I'm close. It was wonderful, and I have fond memories of that. Now, I will go on record as saying that weaning a child as they get older, in terms of teaching him or her how to sleep on their own, did pose a bit of a challenge. What worked for me was I always had big boy or big girl ceremonies. So, I made this big deal about going and getting them their own big boy bed or big girl bed, usually a toddler bed, letting them pick out some decorations, getting a nightlight. My oldest son had monster issues. So listen, child, what you do for that is I invented a little something called Monster Spray. Get a spray bottle from the dollar store, put a little food coloring in it. Does not matter what color it is, just as long as it's a different color. Slap the label on it that says Monster Spray. They cannot read, so it does not matter what it says. But seriously, just put Monster Spray on there. If you want to cut out some pictures of Sully and whatever that other little monster's name is from Monster Inc. and put it on there, then knock yourself out. But you can, get really creative with it. Go around the room liberally spraying, like you're spraying for bugs, and let him or her know that you're spraying for monsters. Make sure you spray under the bed and in the closet. And then, if necessary, leave a bottle of the Monster Spray in the room so that he or she can spray it as well. Now, here's the thing. Make sure you tell them that they are only allowed to spray the Monster Spray, and they're only allowed to spray it one time. Otherwise, your floor will be drenched, and Lord knows you don't want them to get into, actual spray that's hazardous or toxic, and they spraying it around like everything. Now, baby got to go to ER because they've given themselves emphysema. So be very careful with that. But it worked for my son. I mean, it was just a way for him to be in control. Got him a nightlight, and he was cool. My youngest son, he actually was like the best in terms of self-soothing, and I put him in his crib and he would go to sleep, and he was probably about a year or so old when we made that transition. So was my eldest daughter. She didn't have much difficulty with being on her own. Matter of fact, I think that she rather enjoyed being away from me because she had her own space in her own room. And then by the time the little one came along, like I said, she was definitely in the bed. And obviously there were intermittent times when they either had a bad dream or they just didn't want to be in their room because we had 4 children, and so the boys shared a room, the girls shared a room. Sometimes they just wanted to get away from their sibling. They were fighting, or somebody took something, somebody was looking at somebody too long, and so the fights ensued. So they would come into our room. But I did want to say that I'm a person who, believes strongly in getting good sage advice. I definitely believe in following recommendations and guidelines, especially if it's causing harm or distress or, going to compromise the health of your children in any way. But sometimes I just think that parenting is instinctual. At least it should be. What you do for your children and how you manage your household and what you provide in terms of, closeness or what have you, that's your call. Again, like I said at the beginning of this video, you definitely want to make sure that you're not putting your child at risk, making sure that it's safe. And there are bunches of articles online that you can read in terms of how to make your family bed or make co-sleeping safer. I don't think that anything is 100%, but there are different ways that you can certainly make it safer for your children to co-sleep with you. But at the end of the day, child, if you enjoy it and your babies love it and you're having a wonderful bonding experience with them, you only get one time around that baby mountain, one time around when they're little, when they really want to cling to you and when they really want to have that closeness and that bond. Make it count. Now, I do want to say, ladies, if you co-sleep and your husband or your significant other is not on board with that, take his consideration, take his feelings into consideration, because, as much as they might love their children, they may want their alone time. So you need to work out that balance too, because mommy and daddy need their time too. And it's important that you do so. So, it might be that they start off in their room so y'all can, and then, once y'all, you might invite them to come in, or vice versa. Maybe they stay in your bed until they fall asleep, and then you guys put them in their room, and then you guys can have your alone time. But it's important that you nurture and protect your relationship throughout that time, because eventually, hopefully, the goal is one day they will be adults and they will leave, and you'll be stuck with this person looking at them like, who are you and how did you get in here? And you don't want that to happen. So please make sure that you're investing in your relationship just as heavily as you're investing in your children. That's it. That's my commentary. Leave your ideas for other moms and, even other dads below. Let me know what you think, and I will catch y'all later on. Bye.